Hey everybody, Whitney Labrie here, and today I thought that we would make these adorable mini PUTZ Christmas village houses. I must really be into the Christmas houses since this is my second video this month on little houses, but whatever, here we are. So if you're not familiar with the PUTZ house, these adorable little vintage houses have been around since the 1700s, believe it or not, but they really became popular in America in the late 20s, and they were being made in Japan and then of course imported here. Now you've probably seen these houses, but maybe you didn't know that that was what they were called, but they are typically cardboard paper houses, and they're often adorned with interior windows that are usually gold, a very delicate paper that can easily be broken, and it's very hard to find them where they're not damaged. And then the outside is going to have usually a rough exterior that is either going to look like snow or glittered roofs. So I've got a few here in my own collection for my real Christmas ornaments on my big tree, and I thought today that I would make a small trio of houses that would be almost like a little village that would sit on top of a fireplace. So here's the fireplace that I'm going to be using right here. And I am going to be doing a small room box, a stowaway room box or a storage room box, but we'll talk about that later in the video today. And for the houses themselves, I am going to use a piece of cardboard that I found on the inside of my low profile socks that I've purchased recently. And as I unpackaged them, I thought, this is a piece that I could probably use in something that I'll make. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use it to make my little houses and also the base to the scene. So the first thing I'll do is just cut off the tip of this, which is the toe section of this piece of cardboard. And that is going to be the base of my little Christmas PUTZ village here. And I want to make the outside a little bit more interesting, so I'm just going to kind of do a serpentine front cut on it. So I'm going to slow this video down a little bit so we can really look at this image. So to build the houses, I have to think almost in a 3D way. So I need to have two sides, two fronts, and then I want to have a little piece that I will fold in so I'll be able to glue the side and the back together. And then in my vision, I'm going to have two houses on each side, and then in the middle, I want to have a building that could be construed as maybe a church. So that's what I'm building right here. And so for that, it'll have a top tower as well. And so I have to consider those folds. So I'm going to have a front, a back, and two sides also. The measurement that I used to create the size houses that you'll see today is 1/2 inch. So I did 1/2 inch sides, 1/2 inch fronts, and I also made them 1/2 inch tall also. All right. And so what I'll do now is I'll just cut out that building, and this is what it looks like. Okay, once it's completely cut out, then what I'm going to do is I'll take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to score all of the folds. Because this is such a tiny house and because I'm using cardstock basically is the same equivalent as far as thickness of the paper that I'm using, I'll need to score it to make sure that it folds nice. And then for the roof, all I'm going to do is just take another piece of my cardstock and take 2 1/2 inch sides and fold them together, scoring the centerpiece also just so it can be folded easily. And you can see here that I've made the 3 houses. So I did more like a church in the center. I did a typical house for one side, and then I did more of a mid-century modern house on the other side with a slanted roof. And then I'm going to glue all those pieces down to the base, but first I do want to paint them. One of the fun things about the PUTZ houses is they are always painted in just really fun, whimsical colors. So I've chosen the turquoise, the pink, which is like a bubblegum pink, and then just a regular bright yellow. And then here they are, and it did take a couple coats, and you want to make sure to drop at least 1 or 2 houses a couple times in between coats. That always helps. I did not put any windows or doors inside, but if you want to do that, all you'd have to do is cut out really small pieces of tissue paper, and I would just choose already pre-colored tissue paper, and you could do it in gold, which would be even easier, but you could do it in any other color actually that you want to, but gold would be perfect. So next, what I want to do is add snow. I'm going to add 2 different kinds. I'm going to use my vase filler sand that I got at the dollar store. You guys know I love to use that. It's just for $1.25, it was such a huge bag. So now I'm always finding myself using it, trying to figure out projects to use it just so I could use it up, you know? You know how that happens. So I'm just taking my ultimate white glue. I'm putting quite a bit of glue on the base because I really want my sand to stick to it. So I'm being pretty liberal with the glue. And here's that sand that I like to use. and I'm just dumping it right onto the base. I did put a little glue on around the base of some of those houses just so some of that sand would stick, so it looked like there were piles of snow, near the base. And while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the rooftops. So I'm just taking my white acrylic paint and again, painting those roofs liberally with the paint. I'm hoping that this will definitely give the look of snow, which it will. And without letting that white paint dry, I will then take this very fine glitter in white and I'm going to sprinkle that all over those rooftops. Now, I did not sprinkle the glitter on the fronts and the sides of the houses, but once I added the glitter to the rooftop, it really did make the houses look a little plain. And most of the time, the PUTZ houses are fully glittered, sides, tops, the whole thing. So I went ahead and I did put a clear coat on top of the painted houses, and then I sprinkled a whole bunch of my glitter on right directly onto the houses, because at first I wasn't sure if it would feel like too much glitter, and then I laughed and laughed because I don't even know what that means. There could never be enough glitter. I even laughed thinking now, like, why did I think that? But anyway, so that's what I did. I did a clear coat on the front sides and then added the glitter so that everything would be sparkly. And that's what you've got. We've got a lot of glitter. Now moving on to decorating this little trio, this fireplace centerpiece. I have a lot of leftover stuff, as you guys know, from my stash, and I have these little these greenery pieces, but they're made of plastic, which is perfect because a lot of the vintage PUTZ houses would have plastic garland on them or around them, and that's indicative of the time, which is really great. And they were obviously plastic too. But you could just go to the hobby store and see what kind of materials they have and then break them down into smaller pieces and use that. So the other thing I'm going to use are these leftover foam red, I'm guessing they're berries. This also came in a Christmas kit that I did a while back, and so I've just had them sitting around. They're foamy, so they want to stick to everything. So I'm going to use some of those and I'll mix them in. I have a couple red berries also that I want to use, and a broken piece of a bracelet that looks like small ornament balls, so I'm going to use that also and mix them in too. So I'm just going to go ahead and start decorating this, just using, of course, my white ultimate glue to keep them in place, because it is a really nice bonding glue, so it's very tacky and it will hold items in place very quickly. Okay, and then you can see there what that is looking like. One of the other things that I'd like to add is just a little bit of fake snow to some of that greenery. So I'm simply going to take my white paint and just dab it on the ends. And then I will take my fine glitter again and sprinkle it over that fake snow. And we're basically done with this little project. Of course, you could also, if you really want to take it next level, is make sure all the houses have a little hole in the back, and then you could easily string a small set of lights in it and definitely make it light up. That would be fabulous, actually, and I would suggest that you try that and see how you do with it. Now, I was saying that this is going to be a small room box, one that we can store away. You know, that's one of the things when you do this for a long period of time, you do find that room is an issue. Certainly, I know that feeling. So I did buy this little gift box here with the magnet front on it, and I just want to do a small Christmas scene that I could easily store away and then bring out every year. And so I'm not going to finish it today because there's a few other really fun elements that I want to add to this, but just know that this is the beginning stage with the fireplace and our little PUTZ houses on top. And I really do like the plaid interior, but I probably will change some of that at least in the next couple weeks. So please hang in there with me. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that so you can see the completion of this room and plenty of other content. I hope that you liked this today. I know it was a very short video. It's that time of year where we're all really busy, and so I'm just trying to do some really fun little pieces, but also give us all the time that we need to spend with our family, our friends, and doing other fun holiday things, Christmas shopping, present wrapping, etc. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I feel like this was a fairly quick and easy little process. I think the most difficult portion of this, if you decide to do it, is actually drawing out and thinking more in 3D terms when you're drawing out your houses. I would maybe try it a couple times just on a piece of paper and then go from there and just kind of practice a little bit. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure being here this week. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.